Right, so we previously looked at doing transformation geometry, and we looked at the translations of transformation geometry. Okay, so this was moving one image from one location to the other along a line, and this is all on our OneNote if you want to go back and to look at it. Okay, so I'm just moving on today, and I want to look at axial symmetry and how to carry it out. Now, so what is axial symmetry? So, also known as reflection, axial symmetry produces a mirror image of the original shape on the opposite side of a mirror line. This mirror line is known as the axial line or line of symmetry. Okay, so let's break this down further and let's take some real life examples. Okay, so for example, if we see here we have a mountain and we have some sort of a lake or a river or sea or something in front of it, and we know that axial symmetry is like a reflection. Okay, so it's basically a reflected image of it. So we see that this top image of the mountain, at the bottom is the reflection of it on the lake, and it's basically an identical image of that, except it's in the opposite direction, if you like. So we need to look at this and how can we use this in tech or in graphics and in different places. Okay, so we're just going to look at here the example on page 92 in your books. Okay, so it's example 8.2, and I want you to complete this example as well yourselves. So on your pages, you're going to come down 150 from the top left hand corner, and you're going to come in 80, and that's going to be your starting point. Okay, now I want you to draw the image out. The image is very simple. Want your starting point L1. Okay, that's going to be the right hand side of your drawing, and you're going to draw the image out like this. Okay, and label your different points. It's very important. I want you to label the points. Okay, so you see here, this is A, B, C, D, E, F, and by the points I basically mean each of the kind of corners or where a line changes direction. Again, you can label these by letters or numbers, whatever way you like. Just label them so you're not getting confused when you go along. Now, so axial symmetry, and how do we complete it? Okay, well, basically I want to take this image here and I want to mirror it across this L1 line. So basically what I want to do is, it's almost like a book, if you like, and this is the center page. So I'm taking this image and I'm flipping it straight over. So I'm just going to just go quickly forward ahead with it and just show what the end image will look like. Okay, so we see when we're finished, the image is going to look like this. Okay, on the left hand side, on the right hand side, we have an exact replica of what's on the left hand side, except it's in the opposite direction. So how do we do this? Okay, well, your line of symmetry, this is my L1 line. I need to project lines that are perpendicular. What I mean perpendicular is they're at right angles or at 90 degrees to this line of symmetry from each of these different points I'm after labeling. Okay, so they're taking A as the example down here. What I'm doing is I'm drawing a line perpendicular to my L1 line, so this is my T square, and I'm drawing a line straight out perpendicular to it. Okay, so how far do I now I'm after drawing out this line, so how do I know how far I need to come out to mark this? Okay, well, you're going to repeat this process then for the rest of them first, actually. So you're going to draw lines perpendicular to the line of symmetry from each of the points. Okay, and we also know that as these lines are perpendicular to the line of symmetry, that means that each of these blue lines are parallel to each other, so they're never going to meet. They're parallel to each other. Okay, so I'm after drawing in all my points now, and I'm after bringing them across. So now I need to figure out how far out. So for example, to get point B, I know point B1 is somewhere along this line, someplace, but I don't know how far out it is. So I need to figure out this. So we'll come back to A here now. So I'm going to take the distance from my line. I'm going to put the point of my compass, as we see, on the line of symmetry along the line I drew from A, and I'm going to take that distance. So the distance from L1 to A. I'm going to bring this over and I'm going to mark that off on the far side, and that's going to give me A1. Okay, A1. You're going to repeat that process then for each of them. So for B, now notice that my compass is getting bigger this time because the distance from the line of symmetry to B is larger than the distance from the line of symmetry to A. So I'm taking the distance from the line of symmetry along this line to B, taking that distance, and I'm going to rotate it over the far side and that's going to get me B1. Okay, you're going to repeat that process then for the rest of them. So C1 to get D1. Now notice D and E are along the same line. That's fine. Okay, it just means that for D1 you're going to set the compass. Oh, sorry. Now it just means for. Oh wait, like. Okay. So C. Okay. And just for D, it means that D, you're setting the distance of the compass from the line L, the line of symmetry to D is going to be larger than from the line of symmetry to E. So to get D, you're setting the distance from the line of symmetry to D, and you're marking it off. And to get E, you're getting that's from the same point because they're along the same line, and you're bringing it over, and that gets you E. Okay, and then for F. Okay, and then this point here obviously says the same because it's on the line of symmetry, so there's nothing, it can't be rotated over. And if we just join all the points up, so we know if A joins to B here, A1 has to join to B1 here. If B joins to C here, B1 has to join to C1. That's the reason we label our points, okay? And we can draw it in, and then we just see that just after adding a little bit of color to it, to make it a bit more realistic. Okay, so that's basically the steps in axial symmetry, and I want you to complete this question here using this presentation and your examples here, and I'll give you more questions as well. Okay.